Hi everyone, today's playtime. I'm going to play with this little gift that I got for Christmas and see what I can do with it. But first, let's see what's inside the box. It's a Bob Ross by the numbers, so let's see what it is. It comes with a bunch of little paints. So I'm guessing the paints are acrylic because oil paint wouldn't stay in there forever. Good. It's very liquid. Maybe I have to stir it first. Then there's a paintbrush that's awfully crooked. It's very wiggly and I'm not sure if I can paint with it. I might have to find another brush that has a tip similar to this one. But that's too bad. The bristles don't look so bad, except for this one. So we have a white and a black, some primary colors, and a green and a brown. Oh, I think this is, let's see, paint colors included. All right. So you have the model. I believe it comes with all three of them. And then you have the colors that you need to paint it and the numbers on here. Oh my goodness. A tiny, tiny easel. I've never seen a small one like that. Let me show you something. Usually when you buy the small canvases, you get easels that are this big to put them on. But this is really, really small. And look at this. Oh, it sits nicely. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. And then we have the three canvases, which are, they feel like cardboard. So you have all three paintings like these guys. Let me zoom out because I don't think you can see everything here. All right, so you have these, and as you can see, there's no numbers here. And I've noticed sometimes when you buy paint by numbers, if you use paint that's too diluted and you still see the canvas through, you might still see the numbers. So it's kind of neat that they did this, that they put the numbers on this paper here to show you where they are, rather than directly on the canvas. So that was a very smart thing to do. Okay, and finally, we have a little book, Bob Ross by the numbers. And the contents here, a brief history, Bob Ross, a brief history, miniature art history, and painting your own mini masterpiece. Mixing chart tells you how to get colors, but it's kind of basic because a lot of people know that yellow and blue makes green, for instance, you know. So anyway, I'm going to read this little book and then I'll start painting one of these. I'm not sure if I'll paint it while on the easel because I'm not going to have a very good angle unless maybe I put it on the box like this. I'll have to find another angle. Even like that, it's not very, I can't see very well. So I might just paint it like this. That way you guys can see it well and I don't have to change the angle of my camera. And it'll be easier for everyone. All right, I'm going to read this and then get started on the painting. So I decided to paint all 3 paintings for this video, but in 3 different ways. The first one, I used the actual paint that came in, and as you saw earlier, it's very liquid. So I mixed it with a toothpick to try to see if I could make it more consistent, but it's just very liquid, and that's all there is to it. For this first version, I'm doing a literal paint by number, so it's basically coloring, and I really didn't like the paint that came with the set. It's so liquid. It kind of is a bit syrupy. I think it is acrylic because when it dries I cannot move it anymore, but it's translucid and thick, but not opaque at all. It's just very weird to describe it. It really feels like it's syrup with coloring in it. So I didn't really enjoy it because it left some streaks on the canvas. When I was diluting it more with water, it looked more like watercolor, but I'm not sure if the cardboard is really appropriate for that. So it was fun anyway, but it was a bit streaky and definitely didn't look like the result. The brush itself was pretty good. I unglued the ferrule and I glued it back together. And while I let it dry, I made sure it was straight. So it was pretty easy to use, although it was really small in my hand. But it's not so bad. Although it's probably more appropriate for watercolor because the bristles are so soft. In any case, it worked fine with this paint. Now for the second canvas, I used my own acrylic paint, real acrylic paint. I still used a small brush and I still did a real paint by number, so another coloring within the lines. It was a lot easier with actual acrylic paint because it's a lot more opaque. I did have trouble for a few colors, but I think it's normal for those type of colors to not be as opaque. So I did a few coats of it and it ended up being nice. I might have messed up a little bit with the colors. I'm not sure about my mixes because it seems like some of the contrasts were not very good. The mountains and the shirt kind of blended a little bit too much, I think. But all in all, it was fun to do it. And I really enjoyed it. In some areas, it was kind of hard to stay within the lines. But the brush really holds a nice point. Although it was a bit tricky to use real acrylic paint with this brush because it's really soft. Now you'll see that at some point I had an accident, and at first I was gonna do like Bob Ross and make it a happy accident. I grabbed my tube of red paint and it slipped out of my hand, and I ended up with drops of red paint on his hair and the background. So I thought, okay, if I do turn that into a happy accident, what can I do with it? And since I didn't really have any color matching this in the background, I thought that maybe I could give Bob Ross a big red bow in his hair. But yeah, I quickly dropped that idea because I didn't think he would look good. So I was able to wipe it off and go over it with more paint. Okay, so for the third painting, I still used my own acrylic, and I used my own brush this time. I used a flat one, a little bit stiffer, not much, but a little bit. Still a pretty small one. And I decided to try to make it look like the original painting, not the paint by number one. And it was a lot of fun. Doesn't really look exactly like the Bob Ross painting because it's really hard to do it when it's so small. However, I tried to recreate the elements and the colors and disregard the paint by number example. I still used the colors that were given in the paint by number, but I added some stuff. It was a real challenge to do it in such a small format, but I had a great time doing it. So you can see all three styles together with the two different kinds of paint. And I'm not sure which one I like best. I kind of like the very last one better, but the portrait of Bob Ross is pretty neat too. I don't like the first one much because the paint really stinks. But you tell me, which one do you like best? So I'm really happy that my friend gave me this for Christmas because it was a fun little challenge and it was a lot of fun to play with. That's it for today's fun. Thank you all for stopping by. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. I'll see you all very soon with another video. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.